going. And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK Show, and this is going to be episode 63. And in this episode of the MSK Show, I am going to be having a conversation with content creator Constantly Curious. This is going to be his first appearance on the show. As you guys know, every once in a while, I'll put like basically a hiring ad out there for like the podcast shows. Because, you know, sometimes you got to bring some new people in, change up the dynamic sometimes. It's like a marriage or a relationship. When it gets stale, gotta try out the different sex positions because anything else is just leading it down a bad road. So I made sure to go to the Rumble group that I'm a part of, and I just put out, hey, people want to come on the show. There were honestly a good amount of hits that I got. Some of them were just very weird, I would say. I don't know if they were troll accounts, but you know what? We'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. So what's going on, man? How are you doing?
I think the trolls go under the bridge, right? I don't.
That's what. God damn. Then why did Kamala Harris get nominated? That's crazy.
Well, that was one of the biggest mistakes, I think, of the past 20 years. Mm-hmm. Maybe longer. I mean, I'm really just throwing a number out there. I could say 18.5. Really, I don't know. But it was such a mistake because it exacerbated it. It made it so clear that everybody who was pretending to support her, all the actors that every 4 years do their impassioned speeches, it was just so fake because she wasn't even running for a long enough time or providing any policies for anybody to really form any emotional attachment for them. She was not like Obama, who was this inspiring up and coming person where when you would see actors speak about him, you actually believed them, or you at least kind of did. So yeah, that was a big mistake. But why was she out? The trolls are another thing too with Rumble. That's one issue. Well, they're not trolls, but the spam comments. Do you get a lot of spam comments?
They'll like randomly follow the channel, and I'm also wondering, like, I know YouTube and Twitch and X does this where they'll have like updates where they'll purge a bunch of bot accounts. And the thing is, people think like you're botting. It's like, I'm not botting at all. I'm not. I've never bought a sub in my entire life since I've been doing this for about 10 years. I've never did it. So when someone follows me, it's a bot. It's like, I can't get rid of them. It's like, I guess the number's there. And I would tell people, hey, if you look at the number on Rumble, take about like 50 off of that's probably where you're at generally. But we're going to start here, since if you do come on the show, like in a panel form or a second appearance down the road, we'll have already got this out of the way, which is, how was your life growing up, actually?
That's a great question. It was very easy and hard at the same time. What I mean by that is I grew up, my dad made a lot of money in finance. He grew up very poor. So I grew up with tremendous privilege of having money, and that's been a huge advantage. As a kid, I had got some back pain. I basically broke my back as a kid when I was 12 playing soccer. And so it's saying that sounds terrible. It wasn't like a one type thing, but it was a stress fracture on, and I had to have like L5S1 fused or whatever. And so it was difficult growing up with a lot of the chronic pain for years. And so that's in relationship to how my life was. But it's been, to be honest, I've been much more lucky than I would ever deserve. I mean, I don't deserve 1% of the things I've gotten. And so I try to be more mindful of that.
So how was life after that? Did you have to go through like I'm pretty sure you had to have that certain type of therapy, actually, right? It's the physical therapy.
Yeah. So I had a spinal fusion where they fused L5 to S1, and they put in some instrumentation, like 4 screws and 2 rods. I actually still have them. Well, they took them out because obviously I'd have them either way. But like a year later, I was still having pain, and they thought that maybe it was the instrumentation, as they called it, that was causing the problem. So they went in again and took it out. And that didn't help it. So there's a lot of things I did. Now I'm fine now, thankfully. I feel fine now. But to your question about physical therapy, yeah, that's basically, I've been doing that for years before because I was starting to get pain. They had me go to physical therapy for years. I was about 11, but no one thinks an 11-year-old playing soccer has broken their back because it's just rare. And so people kept trying to help me with physical therapy, and I had great people, but you can't treat a broken back with physical therapy. I had to
Yeah.
have the surgeries and then the physical therapy. And I worked with I learned a lot of interesting things, from self-hypnosis to some other mind techniques, something called muscle activation technique, which is kind of like a pressure point based thing, as well as traditional physical therapy and acupuncture. So it gave me a lot of experience in a lot of areas. Yeah.
And you said that was when you were 12, so that's like about what, seventh, eighth grade, sixth grade, somewhere around there. This was before you were in high school. So how was high school then dealing with that? Did you ever end up playing sports again?
No, no, I wanted to. I was a goalkeeper and I loved playing goalkeeper. And so basically at 18, I was good enough that I could play, and I tried playing. I tried playing at college, not on the team, just intramural, pickup stuff. But I was too afraid. It just sucks to say that, but I could not dive the way I did before. If the ball was a little bit too far, I couldn't do it because I was too worried um of re-injuring my back. And I just didn't. What I really wish I had done was started playing water polo. If I could go back in time, I'd obviously buy a ton of Bitcoin, and I would have started playing water polo, because I think I would have been fine. Oh, I'd have to learn how to tread water really well. Those guys are incredible. I mean, I don't know how they. I mean, I barely go in the deep end. I don't know how they do that.
Do you
Mind
keep up
blowing.
with soccer still to this day? Like, do you still watch it as far as like the broadcasts that they do?
Not so much. I really got pissed off at the U.S. soccer team because they kept sucking. Because in 2002 we did so well. I remember watching that live. I was with my soccer team, and it was we were 12, so it was really cool to be staying up to like 4 a.m. and to be allowed to watch because it was, as you probably, it was in Korea, Japan, and we did so well. I think we went to the quarterfinals. I think. I mean, my voice never goes that high, and I thought the soccer team could take us back, but no. I mean, they just kept getting worse and worse, unfortunately. But I think eventually we'll win the World Cup. I hope we do. We have like so many. Everybody in this country plays soccer, yet we don't tend to have the best players.
Ronaldo and Messi sent to just clobber everyone.
Yeah.
I'm actually more into just basketball and football. I'll watch baseball here and there. It's just I competed in sports when I was in high school. I played a couple years of tennis, but I had such a massive laziness about me that I would let my grades slip and I would just be off the team. Not because people didn't like me, not because I had any worth ethic. I just let my grades slip because I just didn't care, and then
Right.
I would just get kicked off. I learned, like, actually, what the one thing I do hope parents do eventually, when their kids get old enough, is actually put them in sports. I think sports does very great things for kids and teach them about ethic and mindset and hard work and drive and determination. It's honestly one of the things that schools do well that I think is actually good for kids.
Gosh, I 100% agree with that. I mean, it was one of the best times of my life, and being on a team, especially team sports, not only does it give you a sense of camaraderie, but it encourages you to become disciplined on your own, with your own will. And especially at the rebellious age, and I was never a girl, so I can only speak as like when I was a teenage boy. It's a very rebellious age, and the last thing you want to hear is your parents telling you something to do. But like, if you're on a team and the coach is like, look, we got to be working out, we got to be eating healthy, you got to not be staying up late, you got to not be doing drugs or whatever, you're going to listen to him. I mean, I remember when I was 12, our coach said it's best not to drink soda. I didn't drink soda. Now, if my parents had told me not to drink soda, I would have been drinking soda, right? So, and I think that it really does a tremendous amount of good.
After high school, did you end up like getting married and having kids or going to college or any of that stuff?
No, so we had my girlfriend just called me, and I'm just gonna text my apologies. I'm saying I'm on the show, but so I went to USC, but I dropped out, which was one of my biggest regrets of my life after my injury. And I want to try to say this without making it seem like I'm trying to blame it because I have an addictive personality. But I had to take a bunch of opioids to go to
Mhm.
school. These were prescriptions
And yeah,
uh,
yeah, I
after the surgeries, and so I was really, really, really anti drug before, but well, they feel really, really good. And so I remember at school, like as my back got better and better, and they would decrease the dosage, but I have, and I had like some of the best doctors I think in the world, but
mhm.
you can't predict exactly what the right amount is. So my back started to get better and better, and I started to feel high for the first time. Uh, and so that was kind of my entry into drugs, and so I ended up really doing too much and dropping out, which I'm
That's,
definitely.
you know what's crazy? That's not even like an uncommon thing. I remember there was this person that was on a guy's one of my friends' live streams back in the day. He's a nurse. I think he works in California or Nevada. He said that when someone has an injury like yours, you have to give them that medicine to not only calm it, like, and essentially heal them and get them back to form, but then the side effect is they're going to be addicted to it because that's what makes them feel better. Because people factor in, even though you'll feel better, that pain's still there. You'll still have it, you know? So it essentially does good, but then it makes you a drug addict. That's the trade-off, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so true. I mean, if someone's listening to that and say that sounds harsh, I would say like that
It would
doesn't
be crazy
apply to.
saying that. It's like, no, that's how that works.
Right, because it depends on your biochemistry, right? Like I
Mhm,
remember Elon Musk, he was saying he couldn't get addicted to alcohol, and he was like, I could have one drink,
mhm.
I just can't. But I'm different. And so it's like if you have a addictive personality, it's totally different. If you don't, then taking these drugs can be great. I mean, that's what the goal is, right? You take the drugs, you're done with them, and you have no interest with it. But it's also at an impressionable age too. I think it has an effect on people's neurochemistry as they develop and everything like that.
Or maybe what they're giving you is like so strong, they're making you feel like a crackhead.
Well, I remember being in like sophomore year and because so this was after my second surgery, and
Mhm,
I don't want to make it wasn't like it was terrible pain, but it was,
mhm,
I had to have some heavy opioids to be able to go to school. And I
mhm,
remember just being kind of zonked out. Like I was literally like nodding out in class. And I didn't even know what that term was at that point.
mhm.
But it was just it has a strong effect, and I'm not blaming. I mean, there's really not much of another option because you don't want the person to be in pain, and
Yeah.
you want them to try to have as normal of a life as possible too. So of course
Mhm.
you want them to be able to see their friends at school, but they're very effective.
So after that, what ended up happening with life?
Well, I dropped out of USC. I was doing a lot of music, and I had one of those thought I had one of those dreams like, okay, I'm just going to play really good music, and then
Mhm.
someone's going to show up at my door and offer me a record contract. I hadn't even gotten to the realization that you kind of have to go out and be playing lots of shows so people know you exist. Um, so again, if I had a time machine, it would be Bitcoin and then always, I guess, actually playing shows. I didn't really play a lot of shows. I only played a few, but I was really arrogant. And I think a lot of us probably feel that way looking back, but especially me. Um, the problem was I just kind of kept changing what I was doing music wise. I never really had a
Mhm.
certain genre to focus on. Like I grew up in classical music in high school. I would conduct. I was a student conductor. I wasn't the main one, but I was into the classical music, and then I kind of went into rock music, and then EDM, and then it just was it got confusing at that point.
You know what's crazy? Speaking of music, the way music was back then, when a new song would drop, or that you were just mostly addicted to the radio or a CD player or boombox and that stuff, it made like when you finally were able to experience music, it felt really special. Nowadays, you just go on YouTube and download the song you want, you put it on your phone, you just listen to it. It's like there's no effort in getting it anymore. I feel like when you had to go and get the music, it made it a lot more special to have it. Now, no one really talks about music that way anymore. It is just such a part of life now at this point, and it's so accessible. you just kind of have it at your disposal. It's like, I don't remember a song that came out that like took over the world, like songs used to come out back in the day, you know?
That's an excellent point, and it makes me think of, like, if we go back a few hundred years, I feel it's like the accessibility to music seems to also is like inversely related to the amount of money spent into making it and performing it. Like 400 years ago, when you had to go travel to a show to listen to an orchestra, you would have these most like opulent halls that just were so majestic that you wouldn't see anything like them. And then once radio started to develop, you still had this communal experience where not everybody had a radio, and maybe you didn't get good reception in one area. You would huddle together and listen to it. And then with the vinyl records, my parents would tell me about the experience of holding them and being able to actually look at the artwork, because we've completely lost artwork. I remember when iTunes came out and you would buy the song, they would include the artwork, and then sometimes they'd have like an extra PDF attachment. That's probably never going to be a thing again. And I remember too in 2007, back when there was still CDs, going and buying the memory of going and buying Elements of Life by Tiesto, and yeah, you take it for granted when you never have to work to get it.
Yeah,
and it's true.
After this, so now you're a content creator now, and you create most of your content on Rumble. That's it, or you're on X as well?
Yeah, well, YouTube banned me, so I was a YouTube partner for 6 years, and I got millions of views.
Really? So you were on YouTube since what? You were creating content since 2016?
Well, I was creating content since much longer than that. YouTube came out in 2005, and I started creating content. Well, so in the late 2000s, I was doing the music for. There was this show, actually. Shout out to Michael Gallagher, who's probably really famous now or something. He was doing the director. It was called Totally Sketch. I just did some of the music, but we got hundreds of millions of views. This was in around 2008, 2009.
Yeah, YouTube's algorithm was way different back then. Holy shit.
And there's no monetization, right? So it was that, you remember the South Park when it was the internet money? They were all in that waiting room trying to figure out, like, so, he didn't make, I don't think, anything. He probably looked great for his resume. But just to think about, so that's when I started. I became a partner in 2018 because I was doing Roblox studio tutorial videos, actually. And then I became a partner with Constantly Curious, and I think 2023 I was doing 9/11 repository videos. It was funny. I was like, I want to get a video that gets 1 million myself and then 1 million on a short. And I did that. And then they banned me and deleted every account I'd ever made and access to all of my purchases. And they refused to refund my subscribers. So now I'm on Rumble, and I love Rumble because they don't do that. And they're fighting for free speech. Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO, he was in, like, when they got the Telegram guy, he was also in France, and these are rare people like him and Elon Musk that are willing to literally put themselves at risk legally to protect the free speech of the average person like me.
Yeah, similar to me. I had a main channel that I was uploading content on since 2015, and YouTube took it down because of hate speech. So I had a backup channel like this one, so I just rebranded this one to my main one, and then I just created other subsequent channels for all my other niches. I was on Rumble. I created Rumble immediately. I started putting out content on there immediately after I was taken down or canceled, as you say. And I mean, even though I came back to YouTube, I was never gone. I came back to it essentially to be on here and have this show here with this final new entertainment podcast that I have. I've had many of them. After that, I was like, you know what? The freeness of Rumble was so just like, hey, I uploaded a podcast, or you do a video, and like there's no copyright claims or strikes. It's just you upload content with peace of mind.
Yeah.
That is so underestimated by a lot of people. Just peace of mind that your content is safe and it's fine. So after I get everything in sync going into 2025, where I want to be at, I'm going to make sure I upload every single pre-recorded video from this channel on there. That's what I told people. Even if you don't believe in Rumble as far as like getting as big as YouTube or Twitch or Kick, just building it up right now. So if it ever does have that big, massive wave that people are predicting it might have, you're not going to start from scratch like other people are. You're going to already be built, and then the algorithm will recommend you more because you're already there doing content. You're going to be a proven asset. I don't see why there's no reason not to upload content there unless you just don't like what they're about, you know?
Well, they're exactly. And what they're about is giving you money. Because with YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and then there's different requirements if you're doing shorts. I don't know what those are. With Rumble, there's no minimum at all. So obviously, just like YouTube, which is understandable, so, you know, certain advertisers might not want to put videos on your content. But out of the 12,000 videos I've put up, I would say over 95% have been monetized. And there's so anybody here, whether you have just a 20-person following or a 30-person following, can upload a video and it'll start running ads. There's no mid-roll ads yet, and we really, really need mid-roll ads. There's just pre-roll ads. But that's one of the greatest things I tell people is you have nothing to lose. Although, unfortunately, I have heard that YouTube, I guess, doesn't like people uploading to Rumble. I've heard people say that they get like punished for that. I can't prove that. It didn't happen to me because I didn't do it concurrently.
Oh, that's for the whole in sync thing. So you could at one point sync your content up with YouTube to your Rumble account, so which is auto upload. I should have did that years ago. I would have lost everything, but I did learn that they stopped doing that. So you have to just basically manually upload all your content there. That's what I'm doing. I did it for my League of Legends podcast. I'm currently on season 12. I'm gonna finish fully uploading season 13, and then I'm gonna do the pre-recorded video. So I tell people, hey, just manually upload it. I mean, literally, you already do it for YouTube. Just another one isn't gonna be that bad. Plus, you're just copying and pasting the same information anyway, same tags, all that stuff. You know, I do like what Rumble's doing. I really do enjoy it. I like that there is an alternative platform there for that. Is there anything you would say that Rumble needs to improve on, actually?
Yeah, there's a lot. Before I do that, I just want to say I want to tell people also, you can get your if YouTube bans you and you ask tech support, they'll say you can't get your videos back, but you can. It's called Google Takeout, and I think it might even be a legal requirement. They don't want to tell you about it, but you can get every video you've ever made back. And I have a video showing you how to do that. It's free. I don't want your money or anything. I just want people to know about it because I'm on Twitter or X all the time, and I literally see that people saying, "You team YouTube, you banned me. Can I get my videos back at least?" And every time they say no, it's not possible. And I come in and say, am I allowed to cuss here? I don't know.
You're fine.
Yeah. You lying motherfuckers. Yes, they can get their videos back. This is the video showing how. I don't know why they're so diabolical. But as far as things that Rumble needs to improve on, there's a lot of things. But definitely we need mid-roll ads because there's no incentive to do long-form content. If you only get one ad for a 2-hour video, really, why not just make 2-minute videos and chop them up? And some videos need to be done for long form content. And there's also a lot of features that I see people like Russell Brand and the top Rumblers able to use. Like you can set one particular upload to be purchasable, but I don't have access to that feature. And I think it's understandable to roll out certain features to certain people earlier, but there should be some transparency there so we know if it's coming, because otherwise, like me, we'll go look for that feature and we don't find it, and it's kind of it's confusing. Their search in their control panel, I'm sorry to say this, is just terrible. It was designed by maybe a 7-year-old. It's a fundamentally flawed search algorithm. This is a simple coding issue. So it really makes it pretty much impossible to use. If you have 1,000 videos and you type let's say Trump wins, you'll get a lot of you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. So they need to fix that. I think auto subtitles would be incredible if they could do that. What YouTube did with auto subtitles is absolutely amazing because a lot of people don't know, and they make it pretty hard to use, but you can pretty much on YouTube translate from auto subtitles into any of like the major 40, 50 languages, except for Chinese, which we know why.
Yeah. I mean, China always chooses to be private. I mean, damn fucking communist country that is.
Well, yeah, why invest? Why pay people to make a translation service for a company that doesn't let people use the internet freely? But that's really ironic now about Google. Google should just move to Beijing or something because they're aligning a lot with that. But back to your question about Rumble. One thing they're doing is their streaming is great. There's really no. I think you have to verify your phone number to stream or something
Verify
like that.
phone number and just have like 5 followers, and you
But
can easily just get 5 followers. Just ask people for like the 5 follows. That's it.
yeah, or don't hear this from me, but you could have 5 other accounts yourself. And
That's true. You know, there's always the burner account thing. Yeah. Because they make the dock player thing happen. So it's like when you minimize the video, you can go and do other things on like your phone.
did they do that?
Yeah, I have
Good.
it. I've tried because that's actually a very good thing because that's another thing YouTube did a while ago that I thought was good.
Yes.
Where basically you could minimize the video, still listen to it while doing something else. Obviously, the music part you can't do, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and like the whole YouTube automatically shutting off if you lock your screen, which then it's a brilliant because it's then an incentive to do premium. If you pay for premium, you can shut off your screen and it will keep playing. But just like that action spawned, these thousands of fall asleep videos with black screen in the headliner. This one's only a black screen. You got black screen, no mid-roll ads, fall asleep. So it's interesting to see how that developed. I love those relaxing ones, like you kind of create your own world. And with the technology and AI, it's so easy to do. I made a video last night, and I was just like, I want people sitting in a movie theater, and I want a green screen in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gave it to me. It was good enough. And then so it's just such an easy workflow now.
The other thing you brought up with Rumble is the premium access. So you can now pay for Rumble Premium, and most people think if you pay for it, you could basically get like the higher search results if like you were to be a blue check mark on X. That isn't thing, right? No, if you have a green check mark, it doesn't improve your results or anything.
I don't think so. I obviously have no idea, but I don't think so. I know it does not seem to have had any effect on my channel. I was getting a consistent growth. The reason I've had a consistent growth is because of streaming. If you want to come onto Rumble and you want to get a large audience quickly, just set up 24/7 streaming on a proper niche. So I do streams about the CIA Stargate remote viewing files, which are pretty crazy if you want to get into that at all, like aliens on Mars and things. But if you look at it, conspiracies are like one of the number 2 topics on Rumble behind politics. And so since there's not that many people streaming live, anybody that goes and clicks on conspiracies on the Rumble homepage, and Rumble's prioritizing live streams, so they're more up in your face, they go to me. And so even though I'm new, sometimes I'll have up to 20 people watching at any given time. And that's constantly making you some passive income. And if you keep doing it, you'll keep scaling, ideally.
Yes. And now, as you are wearing almost the same identical hat that I have, you're basically black, but at least you have a dad, unlike me. And if you turn off the lights, you can not see me. You see teeth in darkness. We can see you if you turn off the lights. What did you think? What did you think about the 2024 presidential election that happened last week? Did you think that Kamala Harris was going to lose? At least not in like the fashion that she did, but did you have a sentiment that she was going to lose it all?
Yes, but not originally. I would say a couple months, like a month ago, month and a half, 2 months ago, I was pretty worried because I did not anticipate the massive blowback that the average person has now engaged in against mainstream media. The mainstream media did not anticipate that either. I mean, they're about to guillotine the top people at CNN, which they should live stream on Rumble. That'd be funny. They should get a guy like in a 18th century French costume. Like I do, that would be great. But yeah. Yeah, I think it really showed us that if you push people too far, it's kind of like if you keep the windows closed, you can tell anybody what's outside, and they'll believe you. But once you say something so preposterous or something so incongruous with what they know to be true, it causes them to open the window.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you lose everything. And it took me a while because I originally wasn't even a Trump supporter many years ago. Because when I would watch CNN and the mainstream news, they would tell me what was outside the window, and they would say Trump said this, and he wants to do this. And I never wanted to go look. I never wanted to peer. But it got so insane, and it was Butler, really, the Butler shooting. I wasn't even gonna. I was not a fan of Trump for a long time. When they shot him at Butler, I actually cried. It sounds weird to say, but I did. And I wasn't even a supporter of him at that time. It was like that. It was such a horrible moment for the country, whether you supported him or not. Corey Comparatore, we lost. So that really made me start to think. And it also helped too. YouTube banned me. I couldn't go on YouTube and listen to most of the what I now consider to be lies from the mainstream media anymore. So what I started doing was listening to Trump's speeches in full. And I started streaming some of them on Rumble like a lot of people did. And then I would see the occasional tweet saying CNN said Trump said this. That's when I was like, no, I know that's a lie because I actually watched the full 2-hour speech and I know what he said. And then the next day, the same thing. The next day, the same thing. The next day, the same thing. And that's kind of what we're seeing America do. And we have Trump to thank for that. We have Elon Musk with X to thank for that. X is where everyone's getting their news now, even the news people. That's why they're finally getting it right sometimes.
I think the fact that Twitter was suppressed as much as it was for the average person in terms of information on the other side definitely swung in their favor. Even if people don't think the election was rigged, but let's be honest here, it clearly was. I mean,
are we talking 2020?
Okay. Yeah, because people think that it wasn't rigged. Elon Musk, if you guys like watching Joe Rogan, he had Elon Musk on. Elon Musk literally said that the old Twitter employees were paid by the government to suppress information on this side. That's what he said. You can easily find it out when you buy a company because they have to dissolve all their fucking information to you. It's how it legally works. So people saying Twitter wasn't suppressed or it wasn't rigged, that's not true, actually. Or maybe this is the key. Like you said before, I think Trump underestimated how many people actually hated him. Much people liked him. And I never hated the guy, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think maybe if you want to look at it from an auto-rig sense, maybe he underestimated how hated he was, and maybe people did go out and vote for Joe Biden. Because remember what people said? People said, oh, I'm only going to vote for Joe Biden because I don't like that guy, which is already bad that people are willing to screw over the country because they don't like someone else who's a clearly better candidate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody was out there saying, "Oh wow, what a great idea for Joe Biden." It's kind of like if you need to go to dinner, no one says, "Let's get our great grandfather to drive." That's a stupid idea. You have to have a lot of bad drivers really to get to that point, and a lot of people were just so against Trump. And I voted for Biden too, and I was a huge mistake. That I have to say, the media though, they're so good. I really didn't I didn't notice how talented they actually are at being propagandists. Because the best propaganda, it takes you like 10 years to even notice that it was going on. Because they're literally paying. I mean, the newsmen are just now actors. They used to be reporting the facts, calling them from the people in the booth, the phones, calling people, but now they're just reading from a teleprompter. They're just actors, and they're paid to say whatever they want. But to what you were saying about Twitter being censored, I hadn't heard of Section 230 immunity before. I don't know if you have heard of that. RFK Jr. was talking about how Google, Twitter, and Facebook were all pressured by the CIA and the federal government to censor out of threat to remove Section 230 immunity. And I never heard that. I don't know what it was. I just Googled it right now. It seems like it just says it allows online platforms to have, it says it provides immunity to online platforms from legal liability for third-party content. So that's kind of like allowing a black market, right? It's kind of like someone owns a supermarket and you're like, if someone comes in here and starts selling a bunch of heroin, you if you have Section 230 immunity, you're totally fine. But I had never heard of that before. And yeah, the censorship is incredible. And it's like to what goal, except for just total indoctrination
Just
of the
want to be in power. This is the reason why I knew people would be able to do that, because people need to understand, people at that are like them, they are obsessed with being in control and being in power. They don't even want to have the idea that they can't have this power anymore. And they randomly got it back through basically cheating, or maybe the average person didn't like Trump that much back in 2020. They got it back, and then they had a chance in 4 years to prove to people that maybe what happened before was a fluke with Trump, and it didn't happen. Like, I've never seen this happen in my entire life. The entire United States of America, outside of like the common blue states people know, like Washington, California, New York, all those places, outside of those average ones we know are blue.
Yeah.
The entire United States of America, 46 states went, yeah, fuck you, go fuck off. Yeah, apparently people don't like men and women's bathrooms. Apparently people don't like their child's getting told that they have to cut off their stuff to, be accepted and all that stuff. And keep in mind, it's many different things for a lot of different people. It's not just one thing. Because me and my friends talk about it, and they're like, well, it's not just that one thing. I'm not saying it's one thing. I'm saying it's many things. It's piling. It's a massive pile. The media, like you said before, calls people misogynists, racists, bigots, homophobes, Nazis every single day. Trump is vilified every single day. Stuff he never even said, never even happened, is what is being propelled in their talking, and then throw it out online on their own websites, on Twitter, at every place. Just so many things. Like, immigration problem is definitely a big thing for a lot of people. People don't feel like the country's safe if that border's open, Right. And the whole mass deportation thing. If you have a green card, they can't deport you. You are legally allowed to be here.
Yeah, they're scare tactics. They're blowing it all out of proportion. I speak to some people on the left that think that we all just want them to die. We want to take all their health care away. We want to control all their bodies. And it's literally the opposite of that. We want big government out of our lives because we want people to be able to make their own decisions. We want to be able to live our lives. But yeah, it just was a piling on. It was, like you said, it was a piling on. It was eventually too much. It was too much weight on the roof, and it collapsed. And then it really, the sad thing is, for me and for a lot of people, the man, President Trump, had to get shot in the face for some people, including myself, to really be like, wow, this is wrong. And it wasn't the fact that he was shot in the face. It was the fact that he was shot in the face, and then we were supposed to think it never happened. I mean, he was shot twice, or shot at twice, and no one even talks about it. It's absolutely incredible. And you have to think, wow, if you look historically at presidential candidates or important people, when that many powerful people want you dead, you're usually doing something right.
Yeah, there's the famous clip of him when that he was talking to Hillary Clinton one time. I think it was for the presidential debate they had way back in the day, where he called her out on something that she herself could have gotten rid of. She uses herself along with her colleagues. And I think if people want to point out something that maybe that's the reason why a lot of people like him, is because he went up there and pointed out bullshit these guys were doing for many years. Keep in mind, they didn't want that happening. They want to keep all that stuff in secret. They want to keep all these problems that they have, that they want to put onto you, secret. They want to be in power so much that they will criticize something that they're literally using themselves to get ahead. So if people don't know, the whole tax code thing is really, people got mad at him with Hillary Clinton because Trump figured out how to use it better and more effectively than everyone else. And people said, well, isn't that technically cheating? But he pointed out, but she uses it, and she could have gotten rid of it when her and Bill Clinton were in charge, but she didn't, because all of her friends and them use it too. So why are people just vilifying him for using it then? If he just knows how to do it better, then that's not cheating. It's a legal system. You're allowed to use it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I want someone to be good at finance, to be running the country. And it's, it's easy to say that someone should just give over their money to the government when it's not your money. But
Yeah.
if it's your money, you're not going to be wanting to. I really don't see anybody going like what is it? Oprah, I guess, was paid. What was it? $1 million for
Yeah.
that. That and then she's being asked was she paid, and she's lying and saying no. Have you seen that clip?
No, there was one recently that is kind of similar. Kamala
Yeah.
Harris's campaign. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. Kamala Harris's campaign is like 20 million some odd in debt.
Yeah.
Even though they had like $8 billion of endorsements from
Yes.
massive people. She had like 2 to 3 times more endorsements from way bigger people with more following, if quotations. They gave her money, and then they posted this. There was this Gmail notification that came out, and it said, "Oh, some about money and mismanagement, all this bullshit." And they're asking people to donate. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This lady was going to be in charge, and she had $8 billion and ends up $20 million in debt. Can anybody make that make sense? That person was going to be president, managing our finances. This bitch is talking about taxing unrealized gains. Shit you don't even have yet is going to get taxed.
That was one of the scariest things to me, because if you have people voting for you that don't understand really the implications of that, then you could pass some ridiculous laws if you have enough ignorant people. And that is the ultimate government saying, you know what, I'm not even going to pretend to try to be fiscally responsible anymore, because I'm literally taking imaginary money from you. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And yeah, I mean, why? I mean, look, let's say the candidacy is a trial run. Okay. So if you end up $10 million in the red on your trial run, I mean, there's no other job that you would be hired for. So, and there's no other job that lets you get the nuke codes. So we kind of have a messed up situation there, but thankfully we got lucky. Thankfully, Donald Trump won. Thankfully, enough people felt pushed aside, felt fed up. They wanted a voice again to say, you know what? We have enough information to know that what they're telling us is not lining up and it's bullshit.
Yeah. I've never seen it happen. I'm still kind of in shock. Because as a kid growing up, I saw political stuff online, on Twitch, on TV. I saw elections, right? I think the first one that was big for me, I think it was when George Bush got put into office.
And the 2000 one?
Yeah, I was like 4th grade when that happened, when 9/11 hit, and then that was big. And I remember the other big one that I went through was the Obama ones. The one with Trump, obviously, and the ones we have now. It's just, I've never seen almost the entirety of the United States of America blatantly just tell someone, I hate you, leave me alone. We reject every bit of ideology and propaganda you want to put on us.
Yeah, it reminds me of did you see the movie Reagan yet? Or?
No, I don't think so.
I recommend it. It reminds me of Reagan's first election, I think it was, but he had just like this insane. I'm trying to Google it really quickly. This insane. Yeah, it's so 1984. 1984. He says, "Wow, look at this map." He received 525 electoral votes. Ronald Reagan. He received 525.
How times have changed. Let's just say that. Oh my God, that's just depressing.
And it's something. It was kind of similar. It's a smaller version of that, and he was running against Walter Mondale, who was from Minnesota. So there's the Tim Walz connection. The Minnesota flag, by the way, is just. I want to talk about the disgrace to the Minnesota flag, because people outside of Minnesota might not know that they butchered it and they made it look like the Somali flag. And then I saw people posting that on X. I saw fact checkers saying that's ridiculous. Well, anybody can go on Wikipedia and compare the two.
Yeah.
And if you go from like I think it was like some sort of colonial drawing before. If you go from a different color scheme to the same shapes and colors as a foreign country, it's so weird. It's so weird. I should send it to you, because I don't know how they even did that. It's disgusting to me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even look like an American flag.
Oh, the other thing she was also running on, it was the whole abortion thing. So basically, her campaign was basically, hey, if you vote for me, you won't have to obviously abort potentially your grandkids. It's like, you know, a lot of people in this country are religious. That's not going to fly over anybody.
Abortion is a tough.
Also, she shitted on people that were Christian or religious. There was a person that yelled at a rally, "Christ is King." I don't know if he was trolling.
Yes.
But her response was basically, you can take that to the other rally. Like, she just shitted on every single Christian. If you were a Christian,
right.
You voted for her, you are an idiot. You are trash.
What? Yeah. I mean, you're very, very, very forgiving, right? but I mean, I remember she said that was one of the stupidest comments anybody could ever say. It's like, you never want to just try to alienate an entire group, but to do it in the name of God,
I'm not gonna be good.
It's the worst way possible.
Oh, crap. So I'll ask you this, since we want to go on to this one about, you know how like men and women are finding it hard to get into relationships now. Why do you think it's hard for men to get in relationships with women now, besides most modern women just being absolute garbage?
And is this in response to the recent election, or just a general trend?
General.
It's a general.
I'm pretty sure you've seen it build up for a little bit here. Like, you know, guys being like, I can't find a good quality woman anymore. Women, I know why women can't find a good quality man. That is unpacking that just takes hours.
Yeah.
Maybe stop being a flaming whore bag. Maybe then you'll find a good guy.
I've been really lucky. Like my girlfriend I've been with for a couple of years now. We met a while ago, and so I've been really lucky with her. I kind of feel like the South Park when they're like, "Oh, I'm not touching that one, Kyle." But no, I mean, I don't really know if I can answer that, because I've just I've only been in like 2 long-term relationships, and I never really was much of a dater.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like to just, I would go to parties and, you know, do what we all do, but I never really was really much of a dater. But yeah, I think that there's I think that the media is trying to influence what perceptions of the other gender are on both sides of that. But
yeah, mm-hmm.
It's for their own benefit, as always. But
so I think a big problem with it is women in, I think, this past generation were told that they could just do everything without a man, and all this lies, and then they say these lies constantly without even harshly thinking about what their life is. Honestly, the biggest one for me is the one that happened with this recent election, where women kept putting out on Twitter or making those tweets. I don't know if they were engagement farming. I'm pretty sure that's what they think. I'm not smart enough to engagement farm. They were like, I'm pretty sure you saw the tweet. The one lady went like, "How can I go to work knowing that half the country voted for a guy that is going to take all my rights away? What rights don't women have in this country? This is the best country for women." I'm telling you, right now, the Taliban literally banned women just from talking to each other. Basic human contact is banned over there for women. Women have so much over here. That actually just blows my brain, that women think they have no rights here. I who told you that flat out lie?
Yeah.
A disgusting lie.
Well, I think about it too. Like some of the 2 biggest, and they're great cities. I love them. They're also blue cities, New York and Los Angeles. And let's think about it. Los Angeles, wonderful in the sun, very hot. New York gets very hot in the summer. Now, if you're a woman, they want to come in and force you to wear dozens of black garments covering every inch of your body. That is going to be a new definition of temperature hell. I mean, it'll be fine it's fine in Siberia or the Arctic, but you imagine trying to walk in a black hijab in 99-degree temperature. They're not thinking it through.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those things where hope the country can get better as far as like just showing women that they live in the best country. God, do they have daddy issues? Because I mean, I could definitely solve that for them with my amazing sex moves.
Let's get them over to you. I'll send some along.
Hi, gamer. She says, if you voted for Trump, you need to stand up against bigotry against marginalized groups. What about the bigotry against Trump MAGA supporters? Yeah, that other part doesn't matter. They only care about that first part. That other part doesn't even exist to them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I know it's terrible. I mean, it's insane. And it also shows it's like a lot of the right doesn't seem to be freaking out as much. It's like the left freaking out as much about how their people are freaking out against them. Like we see so many posts of people saying, "Oh, I'm going to go shoot Republican
just
men."
Yesterday, that happened.
Yeah,
just yesterday.
It's constantly,
Did
and
you
it's
see
just
the one where the black lady. This is crazy that, oh my goodness. In Florida, I'm pretty sure you saw it went viral. There was a black lady and her friend who were just saying the signs, vote for Trump, JD Vance, all this stuff. The white lady who voted for Tim Wallace, Kamala Harris, got up, punched her in the jaw.
no
just assaulted
shit.
her. Did you not see that? It was
No.
you should talk about it on your show. A
Yeah.
little white lady walked up to her, just basically just punched her in the jaw. She's fine. She didn't suffer any like super damage. She said she's a little traumatic.
Wow.
Just a little bit of like PTSD from the event, but just that the people on their side have been fear mongering people to the point where they feel like this guy is literally Hitler now. It was kind of like a meme back in 2016 that they were saying this, but no, people actually legitimately think he's Hitler now. It's not even a joke.
Yeah, it was kind of funny then. It was kind of funny then. But anybody that thinks he's Hitler needs to look more into Hitler.
Oh, good Lord, they think everyone's a Nazi now.
The words Nazi is being thrown around like any other 4-letter word, and it just shows that people really are so ignorant. I remember one of the people at the speeches at the DNC was talking about how the Republicans are they're going to be the new Jim Crow policy, and now I'm pretty sure the speaker was knowledgeable enough of history to know that it was the Democrats that instituted all those Jim Crow policies. But he knew that the base he was speaking to would have no idea about that, and he didn't care. There's just such a disconnect between understanding of history and what people know right now. And there's definitely being taken advantage of that. The Democratic Party is taking advantage of that for a long time. They've just assumed the black vote was something that they could control. And they get so frustrated when they're now realizing that you can't control the black vote because black people think just like everybody else, and they get so pissed off they start punching you in the face. It's crazy. There's no other word for it.
And then started blaming Latinos for Trump losing.
Yeah.
I thought these people you were calling Latinx, they're a marginalized group you were trying to protect. Or didn't need them when you lost the election.
Yeah, and I saw this woman earlier. She was so upset that she's going to have to do her own gardening. And I don't know. My gardener came here illegally, but he's now a permanent resident, and so he's not going anywhere. It's crazy. What is the show? What is the show timing?
Oh, we're at 53 minutes. We got about 7 minutes left.
Okay, beautiful. I just was checking my girlfriend. I wanted to make sure she wasn't afraid of coming inside, not just for the normal reasons, but.
Oh yeah, because girls don't do that for me. I only last like 2 seconds anyway, so I'm good.
Where are you located, if you don't mind me?
I'm in California.
I'm in San Diego.
No way, really?
Yes. Yes.
That's crazy. So you're only like 2 hours away from me.
You're in LA? You in LA?
Barstow, California.
Barstow. I feel like I've heard of that.
That was the joke in the movie Too Fast, Too Furious. Remember Tyrese Gibson said he ain't going back to Barstow?
No, I don't know.
What? Oh my god!
Well, they made like 70 of those movies, and I can't remember which ones.
Yeah, we were just in San Diego for an event for Gabe El Taib. He was hosting it at his friend's bar. Oh my god, dude! One of the bars I went to had the hottest bartender I think I've seen in my entire life. One of the hottest women I've seen, and she was older. She looked like she was like 35 or 40. She was single too. If I could have wooed her, I would have took her back home to her place and just pounded the shit out of her. Oh my god! And I messed up. The women out there in San Diego are just straight up drop dead gorgeous. Oh my god!
Yeah.
there was a literal troon in the hotel. We walked in. I was like, "That's a troon." I imagine just coming off the internet and the first person you see at a fucking hotel to check you in is a troon. I was like, that's a dude talking like a straight dude. Probably got an 8-inch fucking cock there too. Oh my god! I'm trying to sound like a woman. Get the fuck out of here. Hey, lady, shut up. I know how to tame her. She's fine. Good lord.
So is it true? What is a true? Is it a what is it? What does it mean?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Cause like
I don't know it.
Cause like girls in the bars, I just freeze up so hard when I talk to them. I just can't even do it. Like if I was basically drinking, maybe I could probably ease up and loosen up and do it
Yeah.
more. I just can't. When I was at the event, I talked to the guys. It's easier to talk to the guys. I brought like two girls. I brought my two female friends. They were getting wooed up, but my other one, she was like, "Find me a guy," and I was like, "We got her a guy," and she was like, "I didn't like him." Women are never satisfied with fucking nothing. They just be talking out their ass. I thought they just like talking just to talk at this point.
Yeah.
My brain is so fried on women. I know every single one of their tactics and tells. I could easily see it coming from a mile away. But I still do this thing to myself. I just fucking fall for it because it's just I want to believe in the optimism that they can change. God,
that's a great line. I like that line.
But that's you. What other things do you do and things you like outside of content creation? Do you watch any movies or TV shows, anime, stuff like that? Sports?
I love movies. I don't really watch a ton of sports. I mean, I watch football sometimes. But mostly I'm really into ancient civilizations and ancient cultures. I like reading about
Also like Rome, beginning build, stuff like
well,
that.
I love Rome, but I mean, I'm more interested in like the ancient Sumerian society, ancient Egyptians, and things that were going on like in 3000 BC and even before, because I think there's a lot of history there that we haven't even scratched the surface of. Like I just read an article the other day that they found in Italy the corpse of a blue-eyed, light-skinned boy with curly hair in Italy from about 8000 BC. Now, if you had asked me, I would have said that the migration hadn't happened yet. You wouldn't have seen that yet in Italy. But clearly that's wrong. Every time we think we know something about history, we end up being wrong. And I think these ancient civilizations have a lot of like fascinating. They're the origin stories of all our main religions, I think. But that could upset a lot of people, the fact that I said that.
Well, one of the few last things I'll ask you, so I have three things. The first one is, do you have any advice for someone that's getting into content creation? Like as far as like any tips you could offer them?
Yes. The first thing, and I don't mean to go off YouTube too much, but just that there's the copyright checking tool is something to be a little worried about or concerned about, because I misunderstood it. I thought that if your video was cleared that you would be okay, but just because your video passes the copyright tool at any time, a claim can be brought up. And then while they won't necessarily do this to you, they did this to me and they do it to hundreds of people. They'll just shut everything down you've ever done. So fair use is extremely difficult. Just be careful aware of that. The other resource is Canva. Everybody knows Canva for your thumbnails. Canva super important. OBS, VLC. If you're on Rumble, I just will make my playlist in VLC. I'll use the VLC plugin in OBS. Just be streaming. Use Chat GPT to your advantage, not with writing content, but with helping you with the tech side. So, for example, ChatGPT can easily create some Python scripts for you for OBS. Go in and just say, look, I'm running OBS. I want a clock to be in the box. I want a clock to show European time. There's a lot of time zones, but in Rome, France, Paris, or whatever. And it can give you the code. You have to install some of the dependencies, but they can tell you how to do that. That as well. Zapsplat's a great sound effect place. And then if you need voices, go to myfreevoice.net, where you can get for free a really all the great major AI voices that you hear on TikTok and everything, which can also be easily translated as well. And then also too on YouTube, another advice: stick to certain content. And then if you're uploading a video that you think is a little different than what you traditionally upload, make sure to uncheck the box that's going to notify your subscribers, because otherwise it will mess up the algorithm. It'll push something to them that they won't want, and then they might leave or anything like that. Those,
Yeah, I would just say that if you want to do different stuff where you have aspirations of doing different styles of content, create one channel, focus one channel on that niche,
yeah,
and then make another one for that other niche. Because, conflicting subscribers is not something subscribers like. It's just something that they just don't at all enjoy.
and that's one thing I love about Rumble is Rumble, you can switch the channel your video is on just with a couple button clicks, whereas with YouTube you would have to, I believe, re-upload it. And so that's not a big issue for established creators, but if you're wanting to test some different videos on certain channels, it's nice to be able to just switch it from one channel to the other.
Yes, sir. And the last few things I'll ask you. First one is, do you have anything planned coming up in 2024, going into 2025 that you want to let the audience know about?
Thanks for asking. I'm working on the CIA Stargate files. There's been a lot of people who have done podcasts and videos with much greater knowledge than me. But what I'm trying to do is focus specifically on the actual documents themselves. So there's about 12,000 different documents the CIA released. Some of them are a bit redacted, of course. And I'm going through each one of them. They all relate to the Stargate file. And there's very interesting ones. They talk about remote viewing an ancient civilization on the planet Mars around 1 million BC, which I have some questions about the timing there. But they also have discussed time travel and things that really sound absolutely insane. But because it's there on a CIA document, it makes you wonder. And that's at Constantly Curious on Rumble. So if you go to Rumble and go to Constantly Curious, that's what I'm going to be working on.
And the last thing I'll ask you is, do you have any shout outs? Do you want to get to anyone in particular and any other closing thoughts or statements before we end the show?
I want to thank you so much for having me on. I want to thank everybody at Rumble. And yeah, I want to say hi to Eric Gerard, Eric Wayne Comedy. He's on Rumble and he's my good friend and he's going to be doing some cool stuff. So check him out.
Yes, sir. So just want to say, just a little quick thing before we head out, which is not a question. It's someone I want to let you guys know about. Last night on YouTube, they had this like glitch or something in their system to the point where last night lost a minute and a half off the end of the live stream. The episode is still fine. We were outroing anyway when I ended. So, and it's the same outro I would have said anyway. So if there's a minute lost on it, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything. That was YouTube. That was basically YouTube had a glitch or an update or some shit like that. So hopefully it'll fix where it'll get corrected. But if not, it's fine anyway. It was a great episode. So just want to say thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show, and we will see you guys later. Have a great day.